We're back continuing a conversation with Long Beach Mayor Bob Foster. Bob, let's turn to the city budget crisis. Public safety, as you know, is 70% of the general fund. Police are about 50%, fire about 20%. You've said in the past that everything is on the table in this tough budget crisis, but the police seem to be taking a kind of hard line towards give back. So what's your view of the need to have the police, the Long Beach Police Department, participate in the solution to the budget crisis?
Well, I think everybody has to participate, Art, and I want to actually correct you a little bit. We certainly have been at the table with the Police Association, and they have certainly at least demonstrated their willingness to discuss this and discuss modifications. Their contract that was signed in 2004, 2005 has certain requirements in it. There is a raise of some magnitude that is contractually due them at September 30th. They have talked about modifying that, and we're in discussions about that. So I don't want to leave you the impression that they aren't being cooperative. Let's step back. You have a $407 million general fund. The whole city budget's much larger, but the general funds where the stuff people see every day gets done. Two-thirds, a little more than two-thirds of that is fire and police, as you pointed out. So if you have a $43 million problem, and $23 million of that is expected increases in wages over in 2009 and 10, fiscal year 2009, and you have a $20 million shortfall in revenue. That's how you get $43 million. You have to ask every employee to be able to give some concession here, and it's not balancing the budget on the back of anybody. 83 or 84% of the entire budget is personnel. So there's nowhere else to go except asking salaried employees, all employees, to give something at the table. That's what we're asking. If you could get everyone, and I'm not saying we're there, to freeze their salary, you now have put in place a manageable problem of $20 million. If you did that across the board, it would be about a 6% cut. You wouldn't do it across the board because obviously public safety would get some priority. You'd want to make sure that they had adequate resources to do their job. But if you did none of that and said, well, we're just going to go ahead and all the increases go through.
Draconian cuts in the
departments. Well, let me just give you, it would be, if you did it across the board, it's probably about a 15% cut across the board. Yeah. If you said we're going to exempt public safety, for example, now you're talking about cuts to every other department, libraries, parks,
but
public works.
Said that public safety
No, you're talking about cuts of 40%, close to 40%.
So you've said that public safety, including specifically police, have to bear their fair share of the cuts.
No, what I'm saying is all employees, I want to make it clear here, we are going to have a budget that enables our police and fire department to do their job, but all employees, we're asking all employees to make concessions so we can get through this budget year.
Okay.
If they don't, then you're talking about much more draconian.
Let's talk quickly about the $3 million owed by the Long Beach Museum of Art, which they are clearly unable to pay. The city's going to have to step up and do something in the fall.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, I spoke with the Museum of Art a year ago, indicating that there's a $3 million payment due. This is a little upsetting, to tell you the truth. I don't think much has been done in the year to solve that problem. They're obligated to pay the money. They know that. We, the city, in a contract that was drafted in 1999, I believe, are obligated to back up these bonds. And so now we're going to look at remedies. If we have to pay the $3 million and back up these bonds, there are clear remedies that are available to the city, and we're going to have to exercise some of those remedies to be able to protect the city with the $3 million.
And one of them probably is they have a $7 million new building owned by the foundation that's available.
I think everything should be on the table at that point. They had fair warning about this. They should have been making preparations to pay this, or at least some movement. Okay. This is no movement.
The land swap, give us your take on whether that, in your view, it's still a very good thing for the city, where we acquire 13 acres of wetlands in return for trading other parcels.
It's being studied right now. Again, whether it comes back to the council, I think it probably will come back in some form. Look, I have a very simple equation here. I want that land in public hands. I want it restored to wetlands, and I think we have to make sure the price is fair and competitive. That's really the issue on the table, and I think we'll hopefully come back with a proposal that will meet all those criteria. But if we go on and keep the land as it is now, which, as you know, I think everybody's a little disappointed with the way that area looks and the fact that we can't restore those wetlands yet in sequence. I think if we get those in public hands, we will be able to do that, and generations to come will be thankful for that.
And very quickly, the second and PCH project, which involves redoing the site of the existing old Edgewater Hotel, involving a 12-story hotel and 6 stories of condos.
Well, first of all, that has to go before the Planning Commission. That has a long process to go through, Art. I've only seen initial sketches of it. I think everyone agrees that the present structure there needs to be replaced somehow. That corner is probably the prime piece of real estate in the city of Long Beach, and it needs to be redone. That process has to work out. I'm going to see what they come out of the Planning Commission and what they come out from the public comments that are made.
But do you have an overall view of
I'd like to see.
height on the east side of town?
I'd like to see a modern center over there that has commercial and some residential and is consistent with the ambiance in that area.
Ambiance, okay. Yeah. The ambiance on the area now is 3 stories. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll be continuing our conversation with the mayor, but first we have to pause for these messages.